Hello there! Today we're going to compare and contrast 4 different books by 4 different authors. The first book is called The Odyssey by Homer. And I know what you're thinking of. Not that Homer. This Homer. The second book is Into the Wild by Jon Krakauer. The third book we'll be talking about is The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. The fourth book is Dove by Robin L. Graham. The first book, The Odyssey by Homer, is about the king of Ithaca returning from the Trojan War to return home to Ithaca to his wife Penelope. But the angry sea god Poseidon pushes him off and sends him so far off course he has to endure countless dangers and trials before he gets back home. And when he finally returns home, after his crew completely getting destroyed, he finds that Penelope is being courted by other suitors. Well, let me tell you, this does not make him very happy. He kills them all, and he rules as king of Ithaca once again. The second book we'll be talking about is The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. The Da Vinci Code is about Robert Langdon, the professor of religious symbology at Harvard, who is shocked and awed to find that the museum curator, Jacquet, has been brutally murdered, and his corpse laid out like one of Leonardo da Vinci's more famous pictures, The Vivituan Man. Kobe! He must travel around the world to different sites, see different sites, meet different people, to really unravel the true mystery. Why was he killed? Who killed him? Yeah! The third book, Dove, is about Robin himself, the author. It's an autobiography about Robin, a boy who takes a 24-foot sloop around the whole world and finds true love. He travels to many different ports, and there, almost everyone's telling him to go back home. But no, he doesn't. He makes the full cycle and lands back at his house. The fourth book, Into the Wild, by Jon Krakauer, is about Chris McLandless, who completely abandons society and goes to fend for himself in the Alaskan wilderness. But he dies. Moose hunters found his body in an old bus, and they think maybe it was some plants they ate. And they found journals that he's been keeping through his whole adventure. In the journals, he has to fight off bears and caribou and find food and shelter, and ultimately he fails. Now we'll compare the characters. Odysseus, in the Odyssey, is adventurous and has to get home, just like Robin from Dove, who also wants to get home, but also make it around the world. These two characters are very similar. The authors of the 4 different books are very similar and different at the same time. Homer, from the Odyssey, uses very poetic words and really flows, keeps the story going. But I don't really think that was the right choice for this kind of story. It was really violent and gruesome and told all the details, but told it with style. While Jon Krakauer used just down, nitty-gritty, bone-dry, straight-to-the-facts kind of writing, which really kept the story moving, but didn't really let you enjoy any of the details. Those are very, very different writing styles. But Dan Brown and Robin L. Graham from Dove and Da Vinci Code, their styles are very similar. They're written like regular books, keep the story moving, it all flows together. The time periods of Into the Wild, Dove, and the Da Vinci Code are all very similar. They all happen around the present, past kind of time. But the Odyssey happens before Christianity was even there. It happened in the BC era. So that really affected the story because they still followed Greek mythology and everything. The events of the 4 books are all kind of connected. They all involve travel. In Dove, he travels around the world. In the Odyssey, he travels around the Mediterranean. In Da Vinci Code, he travels around Europe. And in Into the Wild, the main character travels around Alaska. Now, I think I picked all these books because I like travel. And I like the wilderness. I like the outdoors. Now, they're all very different, though. Because, you see, in Odyssey, he actually has to fight things And in Dove, you just have to survive. And it's all very strange. In Into the Wild, he has to fight to survive, but it isn't brought on by the gods. And in The Da Vinci Code, Dan Brown made it so Robert Langdon doesn't even have to fight at all. He just has to gather clues. Robin from Dove is very, very similar to Chris McCandless, in effect that they both want to see the world, and they both just want to leave society completely. Like, because in Dove, Robin just wants to sail around the world, and Chris just goes out into the wilderness. But the two characters from the Da Vinci Code and the Odyssey, Odysseus and Robert, they aren't very similar at all, in the slightest. Finally, to top it all off, the two books most similar is the Odyssey and Dove, because they both involve a man and a boat and the open sea, and trying to get home. The books that not so much are the Da Vinci Code and Into the Wild, because while they both involve death and death happening, they're just not the same. Well, that's all I have to say. You stay breezy, Mr. Bramante. Alright. Check you later.